Alright, so today we're going to talk about Ben Pakulski. Who he is, what he's from, his bodybuilding history, and why he's no longer competing. So Ben Pakulski is a kinesiologist and a professional bodybuilder. Or a former professional bodybuilder. I'll leave that for you to decide. He got his honors in kinesiology from the University of Western Ontario, where he majored in kinesiology and minored in economics. So honors in kinesiology, that basically means that he actually had to write a thesis, which is a like a research paper on his findings. So he actually has done research into kinesiology, so this guy definitely knows what he's talking about. He's very smart. I learned a lot from him about how to optimally isolate each muscle for basically just for hypertrophy. He's well known for his MI40 program, MI40 Foundations, and some of his other programs like MI40X and the Incredible Bulk, a couple other great programs by Ben. He's also known for his MI40 Nation, which is basically his community, his following. There's forums and different workouts and different forums for his community to chat and ask questions to him, people that represent him and his brand, and just talking to each other. Ben Pakulski has been on numerous bodybuilding magazines like Flex, Muscle Mag, Muscular Development, and Muscle Insider. He was also featured in the Generation Iron movie, which is about professional IFBB bodybuilders. And he actually has two of his own movies. You can find them on his website. One of them is called Defined. So Ben Pakulski, up-and-coming bodybuilder in Canada. Doug Schneider, publisher of the website SeriousAboutMuscle.com, actually claimed Ben could be the greatest could be the greatest Canadian IFBB pro of all time. So that's a lot of pressure for a guy, but let's see how he does. So in his CBBF career, the Canadian Bodybuilding Federation career, he was a young and hungry up-and-comer. He came in second at the CBBF Canadian Champs in 2007, but then actually won in 2008, becoming Mr. Canada. Then he went on to focus more on IFBB Pro shows, where he placed between 3rd and 10th in 5 different pro bodybuilding contests between 2009 and the end of 2011. Then in 2012 is when he made his biggest leap, and he placed 2nd in the Flex Pro in February, and then in March, not even a month after, he then placed 4th at the Arnold Classic in March. Which then later in the year he went to Mr. Olympia, where he placed 11th, which you could say isn't very good, or understanding that those guys on the Mr. Olympia stage are literally the best in the world, so placing number 11th is still very, very impressive. So then he went to, and then in 2013, he focused all of his attention on the Arnold Classic. He only competed in the Arnold Classic in 2013, where he actually placed 2nd. He placed 2nd because he had an amazingly symmetrical upper body, and his legs were freakishly big and freakishly symmetrical as well. That Arnold Classic 2013 is when everybody really found out about who Ben Pakulski actually is. Who the heck is this guy? Is he just some random? No, Ben Pakulski was showing in 2013 that he was a professional bodybuilder and he was meant to be on the greatest stages in the world. Unfortunately, in 2014 and 15, still only focusing on the Arnold Classic, he unfortunately placed 7th in 2014 and then 8th in 2015. A lot of controversy around this. I think he could have placed a little bit better, but a lot of people were talking about his gut. It was looking distended. It was getting bigger. He didn't have such a nice V-taper like he could have, so that was sort of why he placed farther back. But then also, if you do actually look at the competitors that he competed with. In 2013, his only real competitor was Dexter Jackson, who won that Arnold Classic. And other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of competitors that really could stand up to either of those guys. So you could say it was an easy win, or you could say that he earned it. Anyways, then in 2013 is when Dennis Wolf made his debut at the Arnold Classic. So did Sean Roden. Cedric McMillan was in the 2013 Arnold Classic as well, but he jumped up. And then Victor Martinez, Evan Centopani, Branch Warren, they all made their appearances in the 2014 Arnold Classic. Then in the 2015 Arnold Classic, which I don't actually have any pictures of him in the 2014, but here's some in the 2015. He placed in 8th, once again behind Dexter Jackson, Branch Warren. Justin Compton made his appearance out of nowhere, then Cedric McMillan, Evan Centopani, and even now we see Rolly Winkler and Brandon Curry, who actually placed in 8th the year before, swapped positions with Ben to take 7th, and Ben came in 8th. So as you can see, the first Arnold Classic he competed in, there wasn't a whole, like, 3rd was Tony Freeman, 4th was Johnny Jackson, 5th was Hidetada Yamagishi, 6th was Cedric McMillan, 7 Fred Smalls, 8 Edward Nunn. As you can tell, there's not a huge competition for Ben in the one he came in 2nd. Then 3rd and 4th, there was quite a few major competitors that most of us know today. So yeah, it became quite a bit more difficult for him. And so, unfortunately, he didn't do much after that, but he did place well in the Toronto Pro Show in 2016, and then later went to the Vancouver Pro Show, where he actually won that Pro Show, where he did in fact actually beat Brandon Curry, who came in 2nd. As you can see, Ben looked amazing. The distended gut allegations sort of went away, as you can see this beautiful vacuum pose. Yeah. And as you can see, Brandon Curry, he didn't look that great. His abs weren't very defined. Brandon Curry was not spot on for this event. And Ben Pakulski was always criticized for having smaller arms and blocky abs that weren't super puffed out or defined. I'll leave that up to you if you believe that or not. Saying all this, Ben Pakulski is brilliant when he comes to bodybuilding. It's unfortunate that his genetics weren't up to par, or he just didn't want to push himself to the extreme that some of these other guys do. I do believe that if Ben went into classic physique rather than dealing with the other super heavyweights in the Mr. Olympia, I think he would have done way better, possibly commanding the classic physique division and being top dog or very close to top dog, but once again, that is completely up to debate. So why he actually stopped competing? Speculation here. I think he stopped competing because he just got a little discouraged from his Mr. Olympia stagings. He didn't do super well in a lot of the Olympias, and in most of his pro shows, he just wasn't competing super well. So I think when he won his Vancouver Pro Show, that was a few years after he had his couple of kids, and he really wanted to focus on being a dad. He said in a video interview about how he used to just have the drive to be the best bodybuilder in the world. He wanted to be Mr. Olympia, but once his kids came around, his priorities changed. He didn't have that same drive, that same hunger to be the biggest guy in the world. So, that's great. Wanting to be healthy and attentive father who'll be there for a long time, not shove whatever into your system. I totally understand being a dad myself. And now he actually runs his own MI40 gym in Tampa, which contains specially designed equipment he has actually gotten people to make for him, which he promotes that will create a better hypertrophy in muscles. Certain like row machines, some benches, and plenty of other stuff I'm sure he hasn't shared online are all designed to maximize stretches, contractions, isolations, certain angles. I do believe it is probably if not one of the best bodybuilding gyms in the world. Not just for the equipment, but also because Ben is there. He's the main guy. He's one of the trainers. He makes sure all of his trainers preach what he practices. So, yeah. So that is the history of Ben Pakulski. From my own position, I love Ben. He's taught me so much. He gave me a major foundation for my hypertrophy. Even though I am natural, still take his knowledge. It is wonderful. Go check out his website, benpakulski.com. Check out some of his programs. Check out his films. Fantastic, very smart individual. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you found this interesting. Leave me a like, subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, this is actually a series about bodybuilders, and I thought because Ben Pakulski was like my first guy I sort of looked up to, that I should talk about him first. Yeah, so there'll be plenty more of videos talking about bodybuilders. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like and subscribe, and I will see you later. This was Sorta Bodybuilding.